How's it going, everyone? Liam Catterson here. We're on episode number 10 of The 100 Season 5, which is called The Warrior's Will. Last episode, everyone was kicking off. At both Shadow Valley and at Polos, things were just kicking off. And that's basically the summary of the last episode after Octavia finally woke, Sleeping Beauty, there we go. She finally woke and realised that there was a planned a coronation for Madi, as Bellamy agreed, even though Clarke didn't agree to it, but Bellamy saw this as the most logical way and to stop things from going from bad to worse. He decided Maddie should be a knight. But of course Maddie did agree to it. It's not like they forced her in that position. So she agreed, but Clarke was just not having any of it. And even, she didn't punch him, but smacked him, real rough. We had basically a civil war going on between McCreary's crew and Dioza's crew. After Murphy started a shitstorm, after making their numbers weaker was the objective, and it was fun. It was a bit disastrous, but it was fun, wasn't it? So yeah, and now McCreary now has Shadow Valley, which is great. Not what we wanted, but like I said, I think it's going to come to a point where one crew and Dioza's people have to team up, and McCreary's people are the bigger target. So I think there's going to come that point in a few episodes' time. I mean, I can't believe it, we've only got a few more episodes. I've only got a few more episodes left of the 100. I do plan to watch the next 3 episodes, I think it is, after this. Yeah, I do plan to watch this them within the same week, but I've also got a lot of stuff going on as well. I probably will, but Game of Thrones is starting, Legends, Arrow, everything's just come crashing down and all of that. But I will achieve it, one way or another, so yeah. I can't believe I'm nearly caught up with the 100, and it's been quite a journey. I've absolutely loved the show. I've loved the season as well. It's been an absolutely interesting, different, not a bad different by any means, good different. It's been a good, different season. And, I can't wait to see what's in store for this episode. So, with that said, the extended reaction will be up on Patreon. Looking forward to this. Let's go.
It's 50 miles to Polis. Now get down from there.
I was going to say, is, this dangerous territory,
Maddie, I'm sorry.
Are you
okay?
That was not a good move, Clarke.
I said no! That thing is not staying in your head.
Yes, it is. And if you want to take it, you're gonna have to kill me.
Maddie.
What? You're willing to let Bellamy die, and Indra, and Gaia. Why not me?
Maddie!
We are not.
Because you're like my daughter.
2 problems solved. Now get in the rover before I take you up on your ultimatum.
Like being the problem solver today. This is gonna, I don't know why, but I have a bad feeling this is gonna kick Clarke up the arse. Yeah, I think Clarke should not have done that.
Disease versus mine.
Oh, that's not fair, come on.
Something tells me you'll break before I die. Doug.
I was going to suggest who can act the most kindest contest, but McCreary would lose that instantly. What a deep... And this just shows... I mean, I don't encourage her addiction, but he's just rubbing it right in her face.
I betrayed Blood Arena. What's the difference? Octavia come Skyker was my second.
Octavia's asleep.
I taught her when to attack and when not to. I advised her to do what's best for her people, not herself. I am what's best for my people. Why are you here? Flower.
Not just a flower. An apple blossom. A ghost apple, to be exact. Flowers become fruit. The protein crops are rebounding too. Octavia,
fruit is good and healthy, actually. It's not just
with the topsoil on the ground. It'll
giving
take longer,
these people
a few years, maybe more. But the point is, we don't need Shallow Valley. You don't need to march to war. Bellamy doesn't need
he's
to
trying. He is trying.
Hey, what are you doing?
It's a nice story, Monty, but the ghost can have this place.
Oh,
We march as
Octavia,
soon as the
come
fighting
on.
ended. If you were here, you'd understand. The farmers won't save the world, Monty. The warriors will.
The back pedal for the farmers. I'm rooting for the farmers. Oh man. Just seeing the visions. Holy shit, that's Becca, isn't it? Oh my god. Someone really should have gone through the whole flame process with Madi. You're going to be seeing visions of your past commanders and all of that. Because if I was, like, if I had no idea whatsoever, I'd be like, what the Octavia.
That someone would see it on the floor and find me.
Oh.
But you took care of that.
Everything for you.
You cut your
My
own
sister, my
arm
responsibility.
open so people would think it was your blood. Long way from that to poisoning me.
Not really.
You're not Octavia.
No, I did that.
I came here to save your life. Now I'm not so sure I should.
He's trying to get some
This
common
should be good.
sense.
Indra has a weakness. Her
Indra-
shoulder
oh, man.
never fully healed from the bullet Pike put in her. The last time you chose the wrong side
I mean-
of the war.
So you came here to help me kill the woman.
He's not on the
who
wrong
made you who
side
you
though,
are.
sweetie, this time.
I know you're still trying to save me, Bill. But you can't save someone who's already dead.
No, Octavia's not dead. He's just resting. Very long time. Oh, hell. Are we going for another metaphor like the broken Octavia? Like who she is has been shattered. Oh boy. No. Oh, it's the same arm, isn't it? Shit, it's the same arm. That is kind of badass, but also intimidating, but oh my god. She was gonna end it though, wasn't she? Because she can't live with this guilt, this pain.
What?
She's gonna
You
ask...
see her too.
She...
I know it's why you're scared of me having the flame.
I had a feeling she was gonna...
Commanders die, Maddie. All of them. Badly.
Yeah, and what's in the other hand? Show us.
Oh, fuck. Perceptive as
I
hell.
know what it's like to need something.
Bloody hell, Vincent! Whoa! Oh, Abby. Really, it is a sad story going through Abby's story, isn't it? She can't go
Gaia,
through.
listen to me.
She's not gonna
You
kill her
kill
daughter.
Octavia. The guards kill you.
This is a risk she... Well, is this something she would risk, though? Oh, man, this is...
What happens if we don't
Brother. Sister. Or Sarah.
Oh, sister,
We pay
that's
tribute
nice.
to those who've died so that we might live.
Octavia, you don't want to do this, honey.
Come on,
You do
Gunnathon.
not want to do this. And he's got to... You're too precious for this world, Bellamy. You can't die, man. Ah, that's not good. So Don't tell me we're gonna lose Indra Gaia. Oh. Oh. That's it. She's done. Tried to pull the same trick that Lexa pulled on Naya. This is it. Oh no. Indra. Indra, don't do this. Indra, I know what you're gonna do.
I said, be the last.
Okay, that didn't go down the way I expected.
You do not belong in here.
The Hydra
Go up, Monty!
is working again.
Peace be the
We're
way!
processing enough food to feed all of us. Here. And using the same techniques, we can grow crops in the wasteland.
Yeah!
You fought well.
You too.
Compliments, which is really, really nice. Good up, Monty! I want to high-five him! Jasper. Jasper would be proud, though.
The fire alarm.
The hydrophone.
Oh no, Octavia. Fucking Christ!
Stay here and die, or march with me and live.
This is... What? You used to be cool! You used to be cool!
Going the long way.
I'm guessing Diosa sleeps in her ship.
I'm just mad with
Come up from
Octavia.
behind.
Don't shoot me. I can take you.
You'd have heard the gunshot.
True. She's thinking with her head. Abby. It's really, really poop because she needed it, but she shouldn't have had them. But...
A warrior's death awaits.
Aww. I like her. She's... Well, shift from one Blake to another. You should really start conjuring up game ideas. It's a long trek, isn't it? Like, I don't know if they're in... Like, they're not gonna be in the mood for pleasantries and all of that, but... Honestly, 6 days, long time to travel. Like, it's like, I just imagine going to Silverstone and I think of, like, oh, I'm not gonna survive 4 hours, like, when I was younger. Like, oh, I'm going on a car trip. It's gonna take, like, 4 hours, so I need something to occupy myself with. PSP and all of that. They don't have that luxury, so they gotta think of something. In all seriousness, though... That's all you can. That's all I can react to in terms of Octavia, because, I just wish she would just snap back to normality. We were there. We were getting there, though. This whole situation is going to be very, very interesting. There were already some supporters for Maddie, but I think given the... Well, I guess kind of catastrophe, just narrowing down the brightness there. I guess the kind of catastrophe that happened, especially with Monty's idea, it's gonna influence a lot more people, so, yeah. But man, I'm just... Octavia. This is the thing, though. I mean, this story touches heavily on addiction, with Abby and her withdrawals and how difficult they become, responding in fear that she would have a stroke and all of that. She didn't have her pills and all of that, and we saw the withdrawal effects when Vincent, holy shit, when he tore the house down, basically, literally, and I thought that distorted camera effect was really, really nicely done, but it was just so worrying as well, for Abby to get back on the drugs, because it will come to a point where she is at a point where she could overdose herself, and you don't want that. So yeah, I do hope they find some kind of cure for that. No, I'm not saying this like, oh, it might be an unrealistic plot, but I'm just wanting something to just snap out, snap that addiction, that need for addiction out of Abby's head, and Octavia's as well, because Octavia has an addiction as well, and that's leadership. It's plainly obvious that they are going multiple ways with the addiction thing. And that's the case with Octavia. She's too heavily invested with being a leader, and she could have everyone was calling for the end of Blood Rainer, but she could have ended it right there and then, but she's so focused on seeing through who Blood Rainer is. She's like that's the whole thing. She's too addicted to the Blood Rainer personality, and it's like, what would Blood Rainer do? Because we saw in this episode she was wobbling between Octavia. This is the way I'm taking it, and you don't have to, but I'm seeing two different sides to this. It's like, season 5, we've never seen Octavia at all. And that's my point. We have not seen Octavia. It's only been Blood Rainer. So her Octavia's Octavia's always been ruthless and all of that. Don't get me wrong, she's always been someone who has struggled with leadership, because we saw that back in episode 2 where she was like struggling with what to do and all of that. And then she made a choice, but that hatched a new personality, a new side to Octavia that completely consumed who she was, and it created this, as Monty put it, dictator. So it created this callous leader, and like I said, the way I've seen it, Octavia has been asleep through most of season 5, should I say, because we did see in episode 2 Octavia, who wasn't really in her Blood Rainer personality. And this is the same person who was like, oh my god, this is awesome from Octavia. Yeah, it didn't turn out to be awesome, did it? My mouth strikes again. But that's the thing, she has been asleep in my opinion, but there has been in this episode that wobble, because she didn't want Bellamy to die. She tried to encourage some advice to Bellamy in terms of, okay, well, Idra has a weak shoulder and all of that. She tried to orchestrate part of the match, I guess, to favour Bellamy, because we saw at the end of the last episode, she hated what she had to do with Bellamy. And Indra as well, not forgetting Indra, but if there was a choice, it would be Bellamy over Indra. Gaia is just like, yeah, bye. Even though, like, she is credited as sister, she has a lot more connection with Indra and Bellamy and all of that, so yeah. But there was that, I even made a reference that, we saw kind of Octavia broke, like, she's broken by this, and the mirror is a nice symbolism, because, like, she is fractured. This body, it's fractured all over, because there's bits of blood, like, especially in this episode, that there's bits of Blood Rainer controlling her, but there's also bits of Octavia shattered around her body as well, because she could have just, like, went full Blood Rainer and not gave that advice to Bellamy. She could have just stuck with who Blood Rainer, like Blood Rainer said, no matter your ties, you still suffer the same fate, basically. And she could have gone through with that, but a bit of Octavia was pouring out of this host, and it was really, really great to see that, like, them two reflecting back, and Bellamy trying to wake up. I really, really loved Bell in this episode, especially with the scenes with Octavia, because he just did. I mean, it's adamant that he has not been liking this version of Octavia, but now that he's close to death and all of that, well, potential death, he could have won it, but he knows it's not looking good for him, and he's just wanting Octavia to snap out of this. That, like, I'd hate to say it, but like, I guess this version is showing me, I guess, I don't know, is showing me in a sense that I'm dead to you if you go along with this, and you don't entrust with the whole surrendering thing, and that shows with her addiction, because she could have surrendered. There were easy options, to be fair. There was the surrendering part, which Bellamy wanted to do. There's the farm. But overall, following through who Blood Rainer is the easiest route, because it's her addiction. So, yeah, it's this oh, I'm dead to you phase, like to Blood Rainer. To Octavia, on the other hand, yeah, we saw Octavia full of emotion, but that's what I'm talking about. Like, there's a few different sides. Blood Rainer wants to carry out this, but Octavia, as we saw in this episode, wanted to give Bellamy some great advice, in my opinion. So, like, to make sure that Bellamy would win. Because, like I said, Blood Rainer is like, no matter your ties, yeah. So that's the way I see it. There's two different sides. I'm not saying she has like a split personality or whatever, but there are two sides, I feel. And yeah, I have been really I have been enjoying Octavia's storyline, but it's been frustrating as well, because you don't want to see this from Octavia, but lo and behold. So yeah, but I absolutely did love, like, in the midst of like confusion and uncertainty, like oh, maybe we should trust Maddie, etc. It has been very amazing to go into this episode where, I don't know, because Octavia has faced struggle, as we've known, in terms of her leadership. We've still got the Dark Year to divulge about, which I do have my theories that it could be all down to cannibalism. And I mean, there's a few other ideas, but cannibalism is the most likely option. Especially since this show has shown... well, there's a bit of foreshadowing, I guess, like with Vincent, like, just tearing into someone's neck, like, ooh. No, but, especially with what this show has entirely shown, I wouldn't be surprised, and it's not like, oh, that's a limit, that might be too far, because, I mean, we didn't see it, but we had Ontari hold up children's heads, so, like, literally right now, like, you can't see my arm right now, but we literally had that. We didn't have to see it. We could imagine it, and it was still horrifying. So yeah, there's no limits this show will go. And even if they just mention it, like, straight out, like, they don't have to show it or whatever, they can just mention it, and we can still get an idea about how criminal the Dark Year was. So yeah, I'm putting all my bets on cannibalism at this point. But yeah, I'd say for the first time in quite some time, this has been a struggling point for Octavia. Because now that there are some people who have confidence in the true commander and all of that, and she has to focus with Bellamy and all of that, her head's not in the right place. I mean, it hasn't been with Blood Rain, as someone could say, but it's more difficult now than it has been in the past for quite some time, I feel, for Octavia. But it was a really great story to divulge into Octavia's side and what was happening at the remains of Polis and all of that. So yeah, like I said, Abby's story was really heartbreaking, but they're doing a really good job at painting addiction and the withdrawals that she was having. Like I said, the distorted camera during that whole commotion with Vincent was really, really great stuff to see. And it's just heartbreaking. You don't want to see her go through this. So that's why I'm hoping there's some kind of miracle that will strip her away from addiction or something like that. But they're doing a really, really good job at showcasing her need for the drugs and all of that. So, yeah. We also had Maddie and Clarke as well. We can't forget about them. They didn't have a lot of screen time. It was primarily focused on Polis and Octavia having that difficulty, like what to do with Bellamy and all of that, because she wants to save Bellamy, but her leadership is at stake and all of that. But we did get some vital scenes with Maddie and Clarke as the whole commotion went down with Maddie having the flame inside her, and Maddie lecturing Clarke for leaving Bellamy behind, which I do feel she's going to be kicking herself so much about when this is all said and done, because while she's still committed to making this deal making this surrender to Dioza and saying that the eye is down and all of that, she's at some point, well, as Maddie said, Bellamy's probably dead now, but no thanks to you anyway. So, yeah. But I think there's going to be some moment of regret, whether she runs to Bellamy and is like, "I'm sorry," followed by a kiss. No, because that's because Becco's still happening. No, in all seriousness, whether that's like "I'm sorry" or if she has a moment to herself where she reflects with Maddie and is like, "What have I done?" and all of that, there's gonna be some moments of regret, especially since Maddie's pushing the blame game to Clarke's favor, which I can't blame her for, because this was an idea that Maddie got from Bellamy, and Bellamy's now left behind to die and all of that. Yeah, after what happened in the last episode, you can't blame Maddie for reacting that way about Clarke, the flame with Bellamy and his involvement, especially since them two came to a mutual agreement, Maddie and Bellamy. So yeah, but also this episode dealt with the past as well. We got to see how Becca died as well, Grim as well. But we also got a nice scene where Clarke was like, "Did you see her as well?" And I can't see why Clarke would be worried about Maddie having the flame in her. Pointing out that commanders don't have the best history when it comes to survivability, especially with the flame in her having a bit of a target on her back. But I'm sure, like I said, Maddie agreed to this, and I'm sure, like with the 6 years that Maddie and Clarke spent together, Clarke would have told stories about Lexa, especially since she didn't name drop Lexa. She just said, "Did you see her?" And Maddie would have had an idea of who she was talking about. It wasn't any other commanders. There was a specific person. So Clarke would have said, "Oh, I was in love with this person called Lexa, who was a commander." So I have a feeling Maddie has recognized the dangers of being a commander, but still accepts it all the same. I'm not so sure, though, as well, but there was an aspect to their story which screamed that Maddie grew a sense darker in terms of her personality, like with the flame being in her. It's probably like some of the effects, but she seemed to be a bit, I don't know, colder maybe? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But the way she reacted had a bit of, I don't know. I mean, I guess after what Clarke pulled, she has a right to not be in the jolliest of moods. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm probably looking too much into it, mixed in with the fact that she used strategy when it came to McCreary's guys. Slitting someone's throat rather than Clarke shooting, because stealth rules. Always does. But yeah, I really loved the strong symbolism of the mother and daughter role that they had, because it was reeking so much. I mean, we always, like, in season 5, I always sense it was there, since Clarke's practically adopted Maddie in that. But there's a strong sense there, especially now that Maddie has the flame in her, and Clarke's thinking, I gotta protect her, like, she's my daughter. So you get that strong sense of that mother-daughter relationship. At this point, Clarke may as well adopt Maddie. So, like, whatever is left, like, well, I don't think there's any adoption papers left or whatever on Earth, unless Shadow Valley has something going on there. No, they don't. But, I mean, at this point, you may as well just accept it, and yeah. But I really loved, I did like the whole situation with Maddie and Clarke. I'm sure the worms that Clarke disposed of, not going to be a problem at all. That's the last we've seen of them. That's sarcasm for you. Yeah, I have a feeling that's going to kick everyone up the arse, but we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe affecting Shadow Valley? Who knows? Because there has been talk, okay, so what if they screw up Shadow Valley? Then Earth becomes uninhabitable, and then, well, it does become, you can still live there, but you're not going to survive long there, so yeah. But, yeah, you get the idea. It's probably going to be a complete shit show. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. But they were some really nice scenes with Maddie and Clarke in this episode. But yeah, this was a fundamental episode. Octavia, not, like, her mind is, not in the best of places at the minute. Understandably so, because she's got this hard call to make. Loved Indra as well, complimenting Bellamy. I mean, she's got a Blake. She has to find another Blake to turn to and all of that. But I really did love the fact that Indra was commending Bellamy in the end and all of that. Gaia, using a bit of a throwback to season 3 with that speech. I did fear, though, that there was some genuine fear for me that Gaia, well, not just Gaia. Well, I wouldn't say not just Gaia, but Indra would take Gaia's life, because there was some heavy tones of Indra saying, yeah, I'm not having Gaia die. So yeah, there was 2 different ways that they could go about this, which Indra declined. Like, Indra wouldn't have Gaia killed, nor would she see her executed, because they tempted the idea of, what if we don't fight, then we're all going to be executed. Will Octavia do that, though, with Bellamy, like, in person? And I thought they were going to go that route, because then we can really see how Octavia and her emotions do come into play in terms of Bellamy if she was to execute him herself. But yeah, they went a few directions that I thought they would go. Yeah, they didn't go a few directions I thought they would go. Like I said, when Gaia threw the spear at Octavia, I thought she was going to have Gaia executed for trying to assassinate a leader and all of that. But Indra was going to step in front of her or something like that. I was seriously worried at that point, but yeah, they surprised me. So that was really great how they kept things a bit fresh and all of that. But yeah, I really enjoyed that episode. It was really great seeing the struggle, like seeing Octavia in a bit of a struggle about what to do with her leadership. And yeah, it was a really fun episode. It was fun but heartbreaking as well, because you were just screaming for Octavia to do the right thing in your head. She wouldn't budge, and yeah, but it was a great episode all the same. So yeah, I will see you guys next time. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. You can check my videos on the right if you want to check out more of my content. You can also subscribe to my media feeds and channel if you want to. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. Hope you guys take care, and I will see you guys next time. Toodles!